Feel the power, baby. Feel that. You hear that? You hear that? That is the sound of me securing a fucking pre-order for the World of Warcraft 15th Anniversary Collector's Edition. I've been trying, and those scalpers tried to get me down, but I stomped on their head like a human stomps on a troll's head in a Arathi Basin, you little son of a bitch. This week's track of the week for your Permadeath Weekly is a call to arms from the World of Warcraft soundtrack. I'm in all kinds of... Oh, by the way, my name is Bill Conway. But I'm in a very big World of Warcraft just mood, you know, and I will be until the end of the year. I'm not in the classic beta, but I've been watching the classic beta. I have no urge to really try my best to get into the WoW Classic beta because I've played the game before. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and WoW Classic is such a deliberately paced game that I feel like going hard on the beta is just, I just kind of want to save all of that energy for August 27th, baby. Because we have a release date for WoW Classic. I haven't done an episode in 2 weeks. Well, yeah, a week. I missed last week. We recorded a regular Permadeath podcast, though, which will be coming your way. Big meaty claw of an episode. Almost 4 hours. So look forward to that. But yeah, they announced a release date for WoW Classic. So I've just been in the fucking zone. And they announced and put up pre-orders for the 15th Anniversary Collector's Edition for World of Warcraft. I missed out on the 10th Anniversary Edition. And I sure as shit was not going to miss out on the 15th Anniversary Edition, but it was looking like I was gonna. I mean, you know, it's funny. It's a collector's edition for World of Warcraft. It doesn't really come with, you know, any video game. It comes with a month worth of game time, but you're mostly buying it for the collectibles. It comes with a fucking like foot-high Ragnaros statue. You think I'm not gonna buy it? I almost didn't. These things that these fucking collector's items, and I usually don't bite on these things, but I feel like usually these things are so expensive. This one I felt was like appropriately priced for me in my range. So I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I'll buy this thing. It sold out on Blizzard's website, and then it was like, oh, it'll be coming to the third-party retailers, don't worry. Goes up on Amazon. Amazon, Bezos, hello, you need to implement some kind of limit system on your pre-orders, bud, because all the slimy eBay cretins go on there and pre-order 30 at a time because you don't get billed. So you got all these people just honking all the damn pre-orders up immediately. How do you expect any normal human being with normally paced fingers to get over there to pre-order anything on Amazon? Unless Bezos, you yourself, probably pre-ordered 600 of them. Little bastard. So that I gave up hope there, and then I was like, oh, I'll check on eBay. People are selling their orders. People are selling their pre-orders on eBay for like $300. This is a $100 edition, dude. So I gave up hope, you know. I figured I'm not going to get this thing. This sucks, you know. I mean, whatever. You know, the limited quantity of these things and the whole nature of collector's items is just... I'm not the kind to just hawk on the internet for 12 hours a day, hoping that, you know, I get my hands on... You know, back in the age of the amiibo craze, I can't keep up with that shit, man, you know. So I gave up hope, but I got a message from a friend last night. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I'm so glad I was still awake. I shouldn't have been. But it was a tweet saying, hey, their pre-orders are now live on Best Buy. Go on Best Buy. Holy shit, they're still available. Because the last 3 times these things have gone back up for pre-order, whether it be on Amazon or wherever, they immediately sell out. Because again, these slimy eBay cretins are just waiting with their fucking like auto clicker macros. Just got like 17 monitors open up, ready to hawk some fucking scalp prices. It was still available. And much to my surprise, especially very much to my surprise, considering I'm not actually buying a video game, I still have the Gamers Club from Best Buy, which God rest its soul. For those of you who don't know what that was, it was a really great yearly subscription at Best Buy that lets you get, I think it was like 20% off like all game purchases. All new game purchases. And it was like, if you're going to buy physical games, Best Buy was like the shit. The shit, man. Like, getting new games for $50 instead of $60, that adds up. You know, so it's been a really valuable resource, but it's ending. Well, they ended it But if you still had your subscription, it lasts until whenever your subscription's. My subscription ends at the end of October of this year. The GCU, the Gamers Club price, applied to the thing. So instead of paying $100, I paid $80. I won out in this deal. You know, all the slimy eBay cretins over there getting their little grubby hands on their full-priced editions. Granted, they're probably going to make their money back and then some. I, the patient peasant, was able to grab it for $20 cheaper. I'm so excited. I am so excited. WoW is a very special game to me. You know, and it being its 15-year anniversary, it's crazy to think that I've played that game for more than half my life. Owning that Ragnaros statue is something I really wanted to have. You know, with WoW Classic coming out and everybody that I played with back in the day getting back into it and playing Classic with me, it's going to be a really great moment. So getting into the thick of that and then getting that statue in October, I just really couldn't be more excited. So I'm sorry about the little World of Warcraft 6-minute intro to this week's Permadeath Weekly, but I'm just so ecstatic about getting that in, getting that pre-order in, because I've officially given up hope. You know who who else might be giving up hope? Anybody who has a game that uses microtransactions. So last time, I talked a bit about the anti-loot box bill that's going through the U.S. Senate right now. This thing's picking up steam now. It was, what the hell is his name? Senator Hawley. Don't know his full name. No article cares to put his full name in there. That's fine. You know, I don't need to be factual. Josh Hawley of Missouri. This thing's picking up steam. It's gotten like bipartisan support now. And they actually you could actually read the bill now. It's available. It's gonna be making its way to the floor. It doesn't have a name yet or anything like that, so it's not called like the Protect Bill's Wallet bill or anything like that. But they define what they consider to be microtransactions and loot boxes in this bill, which is pretty interesting. So this is from the Game Informer article from Imran Khan, and he has little excerpts from the bill, which I think are interesting to read out loud, as to what this thing could affect, because you're going to see the ripple effect in a minute when I talk about what's happening in Belgium, which is why, you know, that story and this story are so intrinsically linked. And, you know, I talked about last time we met, you know, about what kind of ripple effect this could have. You know, will it mean developers changing their games? Will it mean, you know, just entire types of games disappear in general? Or will it mean the shutdown of what happens to existing games that use these models, you know? So from this bill, from the bill's text, the term loot box means an add-on transaction to an interactive digital entertainment product that, in a randomized or partially randomized fashion, unlocks a feature of the product, or adds to or enhances the entertainment value of the product, or allows the user to make one or more additional add-on transactions that the user could not have made without making the first add-on transaction. I don't know what that one means. And the content of which is unknown to the user until after the user has made the first. I don't care. We know what fucking loot box is. The interesting thing is what they consider. This is here's what I'm not like against this. Like in a broad general sense, I'm like, you know, okay with the thought of, hey, these things are predatory. These things get, you know, under the skin of people who are susceptible to these vices that touch on the hormonal high of gambling, you know? So I get, you know, wanting to take a look at it. You know, a lot of people go like, oh, no. But it's like, I think it's worth a conversation. But also, the more you think about it, and like, it's funny, you watch, I was listening to the Giant Bombcast today, and they were talking about, and it's a really great point, and it made me remember something else entirely, but they were talking about how, you know, you watch these, like stuff on like C-SPAN or whatever, and you watch like these politicians try to discuss technology. And the one that came to my mind specifically was where they had Google's CEO in there, and they were like grilling him about privacy options and the way Google's location services work and all this stuff. And the questions that these old dudes were asking him, it was like trying to teach your like grandparent how to turn the volume up. Like, it was like pulling teeth. They had to have no basic understanding of anything that is even remotely close to the things that are common knowledge for people who are involved in video games or technology in general, people who just use a fucking phone. So while, like, I am all for this conversation, I am all for looking at these things from a bigger picture and thinking, okay, yes, maybe these things need some work in some way, but then also it's like, well, how much will these people fuck it up? And, like, how much of a ripple effect can that have on games that a ripple effect that creates side effects on things that aren't even predatory, you know, like reach a little too far and mess with things, you know, because none of these guys, I highly doubt Josh Hawley plays Overwatch. I highly doubt Josh Hawley plays any gacha games on his phone. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, so I don't want to, like, call anyone's understanding into question, because what do I know about politics, you know? But that's two-way street. So it's a thing of, like, do I trust these guys to get this right? No way in hell. Am I okay with this conversation? Yeah, sure, because I think it's worthy one. But this is how they define a pay-to-win microtransaction in the bill: an add-on transaction to an interactive digital entertainment product that eases a user's progression through content otherwise available within the game without the purchase of such transaction. Assists a user in accomplishing an achievement within the game that could otherwise be accomplished without the purchase of such transaction. So, okay, yeah, this entire thing. So, like that shit is okay with me. Like, you want to get rid of pay-to-win stuff. All right, bud. I'm hearing you. But the full bill's online. You can go ahead and check that out. I'm not going to read that all to you. It's very boring political speak, and a lot of it is, like, some of the most obvious shit ever. It's like, this stuff buys your hats. And, you know, it's, okay, all right. You know, and I would love, you know, it's one of the, maybe the one time I'll watch C-SPAN. If that ever comes to the floor and is televised, I would love to just see the looks on people's faces as that's being discussed and hashed out, you know. But apparently it's getting bipartisan support. That's one of the things I guess Democrats and Republicans can agree on, is that they're sick of getting dupes. God damn it. Give me my fucking Lubu Reaper skin, bastard. But the interesting thing is, in some European countries, these legislations already exist, where there are rules in place and laws in place against these. One particular country is Belgium, and as a result of that, Nintendo will be shutting down Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem Heroes on August 27th. According to the GameSpot blurb here, by Lily Zaldivar. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Cool name, by the way. This is due to the Belgian government's stance on loot boxes. Nintendo of Belgium has stated, quote, "Future Nintendo games with similar earning models will no longer be released in Belgium." Nintendo joins various companies who have removed loot boxes from their games in the country. Valve, Blizzard, Psyonix, and Square Enix have all removed the ability to purchase loot boxes in some titles. Now, this is a case where two games are just straight up getting shut down. Which, like, wow. So this is an instance where I asked before, will this create instances where developers will patch their games, will change the balance around their games, or in this particular instance, are Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem Heroes just not able to even be played without these? Is there no workaround? Is the work to make a workaround worth it? I mean, in these particular cases specifically, in terms of Fire Emblem Heroes and Pocket Camp, I mean, these are two aggressively monetized mobile games, that are really 100% balanced and made around their gacha systems. Mobile games are an interesting case point, against something like Overwatch, and a lot of like AAA games as a service. Because this is where this stuff gets kind of shaky for me. The more I think about it, is like, yeah, sure, man, down with some of this crap. How great would it be to have an Animal Crossing mobile game that isn't so balanced around leaf tickets and just grinding your butts off, for event items and stuff, and having it being so heavily monetized. Looking at the beta for Mario Kart Tour, World Tour, whatever it is, that mobile game coming out, and looking at the gacha monetization of that from beta players is like, come on, it would be nice to have a Mario Kart mobile game where I don't have to pull like an SSR fucking Rosalina. Let me just pick Rosalina. So, I would love a world where that doesn't exist. But then, you put legislation in place that takes away stuff like this. What is that? What happens to games where, the game isn't necessarily developed around those mechanics? Because in terms of like these gacha games and these mobile games that people will spend thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on, people are spending those thousands of dollars not on cosmetics, they're spending them for gameplay mechanics and characters, usable characters. So, like, is there a line drawn? Like, do certain things not get affected? So, like, yeah, in this case, with Belgium's laws, Nintendo assumes, or has come to the conclusion that these games just can't exist here. We can't make these games here. Our development plans don't work with them. So, I mean, like, yeah, like, if something like this would pass in the U.S., what the fuck happens? Because, like, our entire mobile game market, I mean, I assume there's more gacha games on the market in Belgium. I don't know what the far-reaching effect of this has been. This is the first I've heard of anything getting shut down because of this. It says here further in another GameSpot article that Valve, Blizzard, and Rocket League, they removed the ability to purchase loot boxes altogether. I don't know if it says anything that they replaced these mechanics. I'm trying to read here. It's so funny to read this article and say that Nintendo said, you could spend your orbs and your remaining Leaf tickets until the cutoff date. Does that mean, like, but is the game shutting? Yeah, the game is shutting down. Why the fuck would I want to? What am I going to spend my tickets on? My going away party? So yeah, interesting stuff. Let me know, whether it's through Twitter or YouTube or Discord, wherever you want to communicate with me, whether it's through email, permadeathpodcast@gmail.com. Because I think there's so many areas here where your first gut reaction is to go, yeah, fuck them, fuck loot boxes, fuck microtransactions, they're predatory trash. But then it's like, you look at the American government and like just how bumbling they all can be over matters, and you think, will they get this right? I mean, yeah, if they can nail this and make a system where not only does it get rid of predatory things, but it forces developers maybe to think of other ways to monetize that are more friendly to players, or, we don't get games based around how much you spend. But then you think, like, man, we've been trying to stop them from making video game related laws about stuff for years and years and years. And I know it's apples and oranges. In the past, it's been violence. Whereas in this particular instance, it's such a hot button topic, and it has been since games as a service have been a thing, microtransactions. I don't know if I want their fucking corrupt paws on my shit, and I get it. Video game publishers are smarmy too, but I don't know, man. It's just one of those things you just got to watch shake out, and see if precedent like Nintendo removing games in Belgium ripples across other countries, if these things make a mark. In other news, Call of Duty news. Speaking of games that are really heavily this is one series where, like, that Black Ops 4 is a game that makes me want the government to just come in and change everything, because this is not. So I have a fucking hair in my mouth and I have no idea where it came from. No idea. I am puzzled, completely puzzled. I tried to finish that last sentence with a hair in my mouth, but I could not. And I'm not grossed out by it. I'm just confused. It was probably my hair, but how? Where did it come from? Was it on the pop filter? Don't know. Anyway, Call of Duty. Crazy story coming out. I'm not gonna harp on Black Ops 4's 19 different monetization models, but it's funny. Like, Black Ops 4 has every monetization model in the book in it. It has the battle pass, it has loot boxes, it has a season pass. It has direct microtransaction cosmetic purchases that you could buy automatically. It has literally every kind. It's just like, let's see which one works. Let's see. So this year's Call of Duty coming out in November, October, whenever the hell it is, in the fall. It's from Infinity Ward, which has been like kind of the worst kept secret in the industry, that it's Modern Warfare 4. So next year's Last year was Treyarch. This year was Infinity Ward. So naturally, next year would have belonged to the other head of the Hydra, that is Activision's Call of Duty department, Sledgehammer Games, in conjunction with Raven Software, who worked on Call of Duty Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty World War II. They were next up in line, but they got their toys taken away from them. This crazy story. This article I'm reading comes from Rock Paper Shotgun from Jay Costello, Rock. And they state, development of next year's entry in the Call of Duty franchise seems to have gone. Now, this was actually a Jason Schreier story. Let me correctly source the reporting. Jason Schreier's, of course it is. Jason Schreier's always getting this stuff. Any big story about a game studio comes from that man's fingertips, and I'm appreciative of it ever since. But his headline says, Call of Duty 2020, that's next year's game, if you can't count years, in upheaval as Treyarch takes over. Treyarch taking over, plans Black Ops 5. We just got Black Ops 4. So whatever Sledgehammer and Raven were working on has been taken from them through alleged tension between Sledgehammer and Raven, infighting, arguments in the studio over the last however many years, last 2 years of development of this game. Now Sledgehammer kind of ushered in the age of advanced movement in the Call of Duty series, and Sledgehammer's two leaders, Glenn Schofield and Michael Condrey, left after the development of World War II, and they went on to do their own things. So Sledgehammer kind of lost their leadership, and now they've lost their game. This just sucks for Treyarch. I feel bad for Treyarch. Like, it can't be fun to work on Call of Duty. Like, this is one of those franchises that I imagine is just not fun to make. And like, that's me making big sweeping assumptions, okay, about this franchise. But then, but you think about it, and it's like you're always just making Call of Duty. You have no freedom to pitch anything new at all. If you're one of the studios, whether you're Infinity Ward lost like all of its people after Zampella and West left, and they still had to make Call of Duty games. They lost the Call of Duty guys, and they still have to make them. You know? None of these studios can pitch. Imagine a new IP from Treyarch, who is like, at this point, is like the premier COD developer. People love the Black Ops games. They're kind of the games now that have the most fervor. Infinity Ward has some shit to prove after Ghost and Infinite Warfare, which, by the way, Infinite Warfare, pretty good game. So if it's Modern Warfare 4, apparently there's some pretty big prior Modern Warfare staff coming back to work on 4, but I don't want to talk about those rumors. I just want to talk about how shitty it must be to never be able to pitch any new idea. And then your big shake-up to Call of Duty is an old idea in Battle Royale. I feel bad. It's got to be stifling to just know. It's like my job. I know every single day I'm going in there and doing the same thing on my cubicle for years. It's never a new project. You know, it's always the same thing. Maybe sometimes there are changes to the systems we use to do these things, or the screen might look different as years change and these processes differ. But like, you're always making a Call of Duty game. If you work at Treyarch, Infinity Ward, whatever, what have you, you're always just looking at the same shit. I can't imagine that. I mean, like, and they do their absolute best with it. I'm not doubting anyone's passion for it, because I'm sure the people who make these games want to make the best Call of Duty they can. But man, it must, imagine being able to like the feeling that Guerrilla must have had when they finally didn't make a Killzone game and made Horizon, and then the success that took. You know, because plus the whole narrative around that was like, whoa, Guerrilla's not making a Killzone game. You know, Guerrilla's first non-Killzone game is a new IP, and they knocked it out of the park, and like they looked so happy with it. You know, seeing the fanfare around that. Imagine next gen Treyarch announces a new IP, like, whoa, man, from the makers of Black Ops, blah blah blah. How cool would that be? Or even Infinity Ward, you know. Not only are you making Call of Duty every year, now Treyarch has to fucking hurry it up, because this would have been a 2-year dev cycle for them. They stopped working on Black Ops 4. I mean, the main team, this is the live support team and everything. Stopped working on Black Ops 4 last year. Began work on Black Ops 5. They'd have this year with Modern Warfare 4, and then the following year. So about almost a 3-year dev cycle. Like 2 and a large half to make Black Ops 5. Now cut that down to 1 and a large half. That sucks, man. Like, that sucks. Fucking A, what is going on with Call of Duty? And then what does it do to the quality of Black Ops 5? I don't know. And then also in that article, in the whole hubbubaloo, there's a lot of talk around how to monetize Call of Duty going forward, because even Activision seems confused on that one. They mentioned talks of free-to-play components, and there are people within Activision who don't want free-to-play components in the game. So there's probably going to be a fight there. Will they punch? Will they not punch? We'll find out. I think there are aspects of Call of Duty that should go free-to-play. If you're gonna shove every monetization model down our throats, don't make us pay up front for the game. Maybe the Battle Royale mode will go free or something. Who knows? Who knows? In cool news, George R.R. Martin, a while back there was a rumor that he was consulting on a Japanese game. No, sorry. The rumor was that he was working with FromSoftware. It was a very specific rumor. On his blog after the Game of Thrones finale, he mentioned all the things that he's been doing, all the stuff he's been doing besides finishing Winds of Winter. He has like tons of TV shows in production, all kinds of shit he's doing. Busy man. Listed in there that he consulted on a Japanese game, a game out of Japan, which again, boom, there stokes the rumors of FromSoftware again. And those rumors were further detailed to potentially be a game codenamed GR or Great Ruin that is an open world game that involves horse riding and potential Norse themes. Man, I'm not going to talk too much about this, besides the fact that if there's one thing that I'm okay with him doing that isn't working on A Song of Ice and Fire, that's consulting on the story for a Norse-themed open-world FromSoftware game directed by Hidetaka Miyazaki. Because that just sounds like everything I'd ever want in my life. My feelings on Sekiro aside, I don't think it's a bad game. I will still buy anything Miyazaki makes because the man's track record is undeniably ridiculous at this point. FromSoftware, the rate at which they are putting out games and then the quality of those games is absurd. And the fact that this is now rumored to be revealed at Microsoft's E3 conference this year, next month. Fuck, dude. Like, imagine saying, George, come on, man. Fuck, I can't wait. I mean, please finish the books, but also, like, fuck yeah, dude. That's exciting. That's really exciting. Whew, well, I have talked a lot about fucking loot boxes. I want to talk about VR for a little bit. No story here, really. No news story. I mean, aside from the fact that the Oculus Quest and the Oculus Rift S came out this week, so a big week for Oculus fans. And not just Oculus fans, but big VR fans in general. I'm seeing something really cool happen thanks to Oculus. And for those of you unfamiliar with what the Oculus Quest is, it is an all-in-one. Now, this might sound familiar because Oculus have put out an all-in-one device a year or two prior called the Oculus Go. But that was like really phony. By phony, I don't mean fake. I mean like cell phony. Like it was very much like not really a VR device you buy to play games or like, big Oculus Store games. That was more like, hey, watch porn and Netflix on it and play some mobile games that are in VR or whatever on the Oculus Store, Play Store, wherever the hell they're at. Whereas now the Oculus Quest, which has been getting tremendous word of mouth, tons of people are hopping in online and checking it out and singing its praises, is their new all-in-one device that doesn't require a PC, does not require a console. There are no wires at all. It's full room scale VR. You pop it on your head, you set it up, you set your boundaries, and you play anywhere you want. Outside, in the bathroom, in your bedroom. behind enemy lines, wherever you want to set up your Oculus Quest and play it, you can. And that's the most attractive marketing speak you could throw at anybody interested in virtual reality, because all these years, it's been such a, like, you look at anybody's VR setup, you look at anybody's just cavalcade of wires and light boxes and cameras and just, the inability to find a good spot to play. It's like, oh man, my PC's in my small room, or my PlayStation 4's in a small room. I can't really set it up there, even though I have the right equipment. Being able to just go, fuck it, my bedroom is too small, I'm going into the kitchen, is so attractive and so easy to sell somebody on and be like, wait, I can play Beat Saber on this thing? Yeah. Not only could you play Beat Saber, but you could play Beat Saber running down the street. That's like, and while it's not like the visuals are downgraded a bit, and from what I'm hearing, the visuals seem to be on par or maybe a bit below, depending on what you're playing probably and how well the port job is, what is capable on the PlayStation VR. So this thing is pretty beefy for what we're getting. And I'm not a technical specs guy, but you're able to play Super Hot. You're getting Moss. You're getting Beat Saber. You're getting Robo Recall. You're getting these giant name, top of the line. These are the VR games everybody talks about type deal on this all-in-one device that you can take and run around and play with anywhere. And as somebody who, for the last year and a half now, since I bought my PlayStation VR, have just fallen in love with virtual reality. I've fallen in love with this idea. I've fallen in love with preaching it to whoever I can and showing it to whoever I can, because it's such a thing of, in order to make someone a believer, they got to go into the headset. You know what I mean? You can't really watch a YouTube video and get the idea for some of this stuff, especially when some of these games, frankly, don't look very good compared to flat games. Getting in there and having that sense of presence is something that, like, wow, holy shit, you're right. And having something as simple as the Quest makes me excited, and I really hope this thing blows up and is a runaway success for Oculus, because I think what they're doing here is the first real step to really try to make this thing mass market. And I really want to mess around with one. I got my first PC VR headset this week. I mentioned earlier they released the Quest and the Rift S this week. I bought a Rift S. I would have bought a Quest if I didn't have a PC, but there are some pretty big PC VR games I really want to dive into. And I really want to mess around with like Skyrim VR on PC with mods, and No Man's Sky VR is coming out, and I want that to look as good as possible. So I'm like, you know what? With the Rift S, I'm jumping in, because what they did with tracking for these devices, for the Quest and the Rift S, are they're using the inside-out tracking solutions, which means you're no longer setting up light boxes and sensors and cameras and all these other, things that require extra space and wire management and room and, extra money. And there are camera sensors all around the headset that, detect your room space, detect where your controllers are, and just make it so you can set it up and play wherever. So the Rift S was kind of a no-brainer for me to buy that, because my room isn't the best. It's in an attic, so like in terms of setting up light boxes and cool spots, it's really difficult. Cable management especially, just the way everything's laid out up here. I wanted to buy an Oculus last year, but I ended up passing on it because I'm like, you know what? I just don't think I can set it up correctly in this room. So this was a nice surprise on their end, and I love it. I am just, wow, man, and I love the PC VR ecosystem. I really like what I'm seeing and experiencing with the inside out tracking. It's perfect for me so far. Such an easy setup. 2 wires, DisplayPort, USB 3, put it on, set it up, draw your boundaries. You're in there, no cameras, no whatever. Man, I'm just so happy with it. And I'm so happy that I have both, because I see a lot of people online. It's like, oh man, I'm going to sell my PSVR, or like, oh man, I'm jumping into PC VR to replace my PlayStation thing, or even vice versa. It's like, man, as somebody who's loving VR right now, being able now to finally experience both platforms on PlayStation and PC, and having all of these experiences, I'm more excited than ever. Because everybody's golf VR just came out on PlayStation. Blood and Truth comes out next week on PlayStation VR exclusive. First party AAA exclusive. That was originally going to be a getaway game. Like, there's just an embarrassment of riches right now if you're really into VR. And if you're a newcomer, this is like one of the the most exemplary jumping on points, just watching people enjoying the Quest and experiencing VR for the first time. And not only that, but experiencing like room scale appropriate VR, like playing fucking Super Hot on a Quest. Like that is a gaming advancement. No wires, no whatever. One of those games where you're flying your body around and picking up guns and you're John Wick. I would love to play that on a Quest. I have a Rift S. I have no reason to buy a Quest at this point. But I really want somebody close to me to get it because I want to play Super Hot with no wires at all, man. It's fucking rad. So expect a lot of VR stuff out of me, whether it be on the regular Permadeath podcast, whether it be on my Twitter feed, or wherever, because I'm diving into PC head first. I haven't played too much on it yet. I got Gorn, and I'm actually just finished installing Blade and Sorcery. I'm going to check out Skyrim VR on PC. I'm in Lone Echo. I've been a lot of PC mainstays, a lot of the like default recommendations and stuff on PC that a lot of people will throw to newcomers' way. I'm going to get Beat Saber, obviously, and get mods. Just enjoy myself. Speaking of, I'm going to go do that right now. This has been Permadeath Weekly. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know what you think of anything discussed, whether it be loot boxes, whether it be GRRM, Game of Thrones, whatever, VR, Call of Duty. Let me know in the comments down below or email me at permadeathpodcast@gmail.com. You can also tweet me personally at Pepperedham, or you can tweet the show at Permapodcast. You can also find links to our Discord down below in the YouTube link. And if you're not on YouTube and you don't want to, search it up or whatever, tweet me and I'll just send you it, dude. I'll just send you the link. Come hang out, come chat. There's a podcast question section of the Discord where you can ask questions in there too. Just let me know whether they're for weekly or for the regular Permadeath podcast. Otherwise, I don't know. Do you want me to answer them? Or do you want Kinross to answer them? You want Abby to answer them? Drop us a line. So many ways to do it. It's never been a better time to email the Permadeath podcast. When I was a kid, I couldn't figure out a way to get my message to them. I sent them several letters. All of them went back to my house, saying that this address doesn't exist. So, I looked them up, I walked to their house, knocked on the door,